Next up, we've got an amazing speaker. Let's see, bear with me here. All right, Neil Patel, founder and CEO of NP Digital, going to talk about making meaningful connections. Please welcome Neil to the stage. Oh, come on, welcome Neil to the stage. All right, there we go. A little energy, please.
Hello, how are you guys doing? Awesome. So, let me actually go back to slide 1. All right, perfect. So today we're going to be talking about customer experience crossovers, what B2B marketers can learn from B2C playbooks. A little about me, I'm Neil Patel. I'm the co-founder of an ad agency called NP Digital. We're global, we're even here in Canada. I think we're getting close to 40 people here in Canada. And we work with a lot of different brands, both B2C and B2B, a lot of different clients, a lot of different awards. The reason I say this is today when I talk about what B2B brands can learn from B2C, we've done it, we've experienced it. So when I break some of this stuff down today, just keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that you can use a lot of this stuff for B2C as well. So let's talk about harnessing B2C experiences to transition your B2B customer experience. But first off, why does customer experience matter in B2B? The big thing here that you need to know is companies that rank customer service as a top priority are 6x more likely to surpass their customer retention goals. And customer service isn't just about talking to people and helping them. It's about figuring out what problems people are having and solving it with the experience so that way you don't keep getting those requests over and over and over again. I once met an entrepreneur who then sold his company to SurveyMonkey, then ended up going back to Y Combinator as an investor. And one thing that he did for all his departments, sales, marketing, customer experience, project management, etc., everyone spent at least 30 minutes to an hour a day on customer service. It helped them figure out how to make the product better. And that was really important. And B2B buyers are customers too. 80% of B2B buyers expect the same buying experience that they would experience as B2C customers. People are picky, but there's problems. With B2B, you got to deal with time. How long does it take for someone to convert? Is it actually a direct transaction or is it a lead? These things can experience the feedback that you're getting. You're also not going to have as many visitors as a B2C site. So getting the feedback and enough volume of it collected to figure out what changes to make takes time as well. But here's the key that most B2B marketers make mistakes on that B2C people get right. It's not about the marketing end, and it's not about the business end. It's about both. From getting someone to your website, from them seeing an ad, the impression, the landing page, all the way to getting them to purchase, to continually getting them to buy more and increasing the lifetime value. It's a whole journey that matters. If you optimize for one and not the other, it doesn't work. From a marketing aspect, ads are getting more and more expensive. Even in this bad economy, players like Google are starting to generate more ad revenue than they did in the previous year, even though things aren't going that well economically from a global standpoint, right? So for the numbers to work, you have to optimize all, not one, but all ends. So now let's talk about understanding B2B versus B2C and the real difference. So first off, there's a communication difference. In B2C, people want things that are customer friendly, using tons of emotions. B2B, they want more technical jargon, getting to the point, stats, data, right? They're using more logic to inform their decisions. And when you look at the engagement channel, it's mainly the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Googles for B2C. For B2B, it's LinkedIn. Google is also really relevant. YouTube is getting more and more relevant. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok still are effective, but it's more so the younger audience are really using Instagram and TikTok for B2B. For example, my most popular Instagram video, or TikTok video, sorry about that, is breaking down trends on Instagram and how you can actually find them using tools that TikTok ended up creating. So think about that. My most popular TikTok video is about tools and data and how companies can use these tools and data to figure out how to get more traffic from TikTok. It's more B2B than B2C, funny enough. Then you also have the transaction dynamics. People go through this journey of flow, right? What did they do? What did they say? What are they seeing online? What are they thinking? All these things impact decisions. And funny enough, with word of mouth marketing, it used to be, hey, what is your neighbor telling you? What is your friend telling you that's in a similar type of B2B company or B2C company? And what are they recommending? But now, a lot of it is reviews. That's a new form of word of mouth marketing. What are people saying online? In the B2B world, what's happening on sites like G2? B2C, what's their Amazon ratings, right? All this stuff is really important. And the decision-making process is much more complex. A typical B2B purchase involves 6 to 10 decision makers. And they're also getting younger. The power is shifting, right? Millennials now are making up a large chunk of the buying decision in the teams. And you're going to see that trend go to the younger and younger generations. And reaching millennials meaning aligning with their preference. And the big thing that we're seeing, it doesn't matter if it's B2B or B2C, authenticity is a bigger and bigger factor, especially with all these changes happening in AI. It's kind of getting creepy. I don't use Instagram too often. I know I post every single day, but it's my team who's posting for me. It's technically me recording the videos, but I really don't log in to post the videos. I'm usually on a plane. And if you ever tried posting a video from a plane, it is very challenging. I've never been able to do it yet. I've tried many times. And the one thing that you see on Instagram or you see on TikTok, you're seeing these video clips that are really realistic. I know LeBron James is not talking crap about his team in a press interview. But with AI, it looks like he really is, and it looks so real, you don't know. It's kind of crazy and creepy. This is why authenticity is even more important than ever. Someone sent me a WhatsApp message a week or two ago. And on this WhatsApp message, they broke down how I should use AI. I shouldn't use AI to create my videos. Like, hey, Neil, I don't know what's up. Your eyes are too big in some of your social videos. I'm guessing because it's AI. And I'm like, no. I'm not actually using AI to create my videos. Would have never had this issue a year ago, but some of the people are now thinking my videos are fake. My eyes are getting bigger because I'm just getting older, and sometimes it's harder to read from a teleprompter. That's really what's happening. Like, old age is getting to me. I tell my team, make the text bigger. Bring the video camera closer. Right? When I was younger, video camera was twice the distance, text was smaller, I had no problem. But now, after 30 minutes of recording, my eyes get tired. But again, authenticity, we really need that on websites. Then you want to talk about building relationships. Relationships is huge. This is one of the key elements for B2B. B2C transactions, a lot of them, price points aren't that high. But people are still building relationships, like Kylie Jenner from Kylie Cosmetics. You can build a brand. Intel did a good job of this in the States many, many years ago, where they had cool tech people in commercials. People were like, yeah. And then we found out they're actually not employees at the organization, but they're paid tech-looking actors. But it helped build a deeper relationship. And these relationships matter especially if you're selling things for higher price points. And this is really important because there's always competition as well. So now let's talk about professional versus personal objectives. Look, people have different objectives when they're making a purchase. A lot of times in personal, it's more emotional based. Professional, it's more logic, stat, data driven. You got to figure out how to solve them, and you can. And one of the ways to solve some of these sales issues and generating the revenue is also by establishing credibility. But in B2B, it's not that emotional. It's more so logic and informational. But then, for the people that don't convert, you want to remarket to them and leverage the emotional side. See, if someone doesn't convert the first time, you got to try a different approach. If logic doesn't work in B2B and data doesn't work, it doesn't mean that they're not logical. It means that you may have only solved half the battle. And you would want to use the other side of their brain, which is the emotional side, and use that in your remarketing campaigns. You can also establish credibility through trust. Buyers are almost twice as likely to recommend a business to their colleagues when they trust a company versus when they don't. And in this day and age, there's tons of competition. Why should they trust you over the competition? People have tons of choices. But trust is a big factor. And providing a good customer experience isn't enough. You need to foster loyalty. You need to work on boosting your lifetime value of your customer. You need to differentiate your brand. Brands these days are the real moats in business. Think about it. Whatever customer experience you have, someone else can copy. Whatever product you have, someone else can copy. Whatever marketing you're doing, someone else can copy. What really differentiates Nike versus Adidas? It's not the shoe quality. Anyone can replicate that. It's that brand. It's that swish mark. It's that tagline, just do it. It's that Air Jordan type of figure. It was funny, I was at the Michael Jordan golf tournament in Nevada. It was some nonprofit thing. This was pre-COVID. So I get to meet some people, including Michael Jordan, and I get to meet some other people, like Derek Jeter, who is a baseball player, and a few other sports figures. That wasn't the interesting part. What was the interesting part is Jordan brought his business people there, all the money guys who are running the Jordan brand under Nike. And when I was talking to him, I wasn't asking questions about Michael Jordan. I was more intrigued about the business, how much revenue they were generating, what were the keys to generating more sales, why they were getting other athletes on board. And you know what they told me? The power of the brand? It's so powerful that when a Derek Jeter or someone else creates a Jordan shoe, it actually does better if the other person's name isn't on there. People just want the logo of the jumping man, and they don't want tons of other names on the shoe. Even if the shoe is done in co-partnership branding with another celebrity. That's the power of a brand. Adding something to the brand was negatively impacting sales. Partnering with another celebrity helped the sales, but the moment you added their name and information to the shoe, it caused less sales, right? Real power of a brand. And there's many layers of trust in an organization, according to Forrester. Leveraging these elements just helps with more sales. Now, let's talk about leveraging B2C design principles to create amazing B2B experiences. So first off, you want to have a real clear navigation. If you don't have a clear navigation, you're screwed. It shouldn't be where people need to click 3-4 times to find what they're looking for. As quick as possible. And the big problem that we see B2B companies make is they overcomplex how many pages they need, which messes up their navigation. For example, you don't need an about page for your team and then about page for the company and then another about page for how you started. Just create one about page. Like, really, make it simple. It could all fit on there. If you have a big organization with 1,000 people, you don't need to list 1,000 people on your about page. You can just showcase your leadership. You can combine all this in one page and make it simpler for people. It's all about creating harmony. What about the functionality, outcomes, and the whole experience? It all ties in together. If you can't tie it in together, you're not going to generate as many sales. Next, you have the responsive design element. And think about this in a specific way. If someone uses a specific mobile device, you don't want to adapt to that mobile device. It should automatically adapt. You don't want to have it where you have to create a new design. I remember when mobile first came out, people would have a mobile website and then a desktop website instead of a responsive website that just adapts. People like Apple and Samsung continually release new devices in different sizes, hence you just need to adapt. And you need to be efficient in which your website loads fast too, because people just leave if something doesn't load fast. Then you have structured and seamless pages. Each page should be a breeze to navigate with key information front and center. If there's not a key piece of information for each page, you don't need that page. Delete it, merge it into something else, do a redirect. Your information shouldn't be over salesy. You should be more informative and not salesy. Your information should help educate and guide people through a journey of buying versus a journey of selling them. In B2B, people buy based on solving problems, not by people being that salesperson being like, yeah, if you don't close in the next week, you'll regret it. No, I won't regret it. I can just close the week after, right? Being too pushy doesn't work as well in B2B. You also want to spotlight customer reviews. People make decisions based on all the other stuff that they see, and that's important. You want to highlight product benefits and service benefits. It's not just about saying, hey, this is what the cool features are, but what are the benefits of these? What problems does it solve? Does it save you time, money, make you more efficient as an organization? You also want to have comprehensive company information. Funny enough, 64% of people look for a company's contact information on the home page. Most people don't know that. You can have a contact page. You don't have to put your contact page information on the home page, but you better have that contact button or get in touch button front and center on the top right, a call to action for it, maybe somewhere on the home page to make it easy for people to find your information. And you also want to have clear and honest communication, whether it's with your brand or whether it's with changes that are happening with your organization. People prefer honest, upfront communication, especially with things like price changes. No one likes things changing out of left field. Now let's talk about 8 B2B design principles to help you elevate your website. So it's all about design to the customer journey. And in B2C, it's really quick conversions. People go down a path even for buying TVs. It's not that long of a buyer journey. But on B2B, it's really long-term loyalty. Because where you make the money in B2B is not the first transaction. It's them sticking around, paying you every month, or keep buying from you over the long haul and building up that relationship, which changes the overall journey. So first, you need to nail your target audience and goals. You really need to understand what are your goals, who are you selling to, and you need to build deeper relationship with the people. Because your customers are different than what you think. They're not just a person in a suit. You take off the suit, you got to figure out how to interact and engage with these people. What are their interests? We've taken people to baseball games. We've taken people to sporting events. Why do B2B companies do that? Because they understand over time what people like and what they don't, and they understand that deeper person that they're working with. You also want to focus on key pages and their goals. B2B sites have many pages. Focus on the main ones and optimize those first before optimizing your whole site. It's okay if not everything is perfect. And when you're selling services, you got to look at, all right, what am I selling? And how does this different versus products? It's not the same. Even the reports that you send people aren't the same either. One, people want to engage like a tool. The other one, people expect to see more reporting type of views. Bless you. And when you adapt, that's when you're going to end up generating more revenue in the long run. You also need to develop killer content for each page. But this killer content doesn't need to be long, short, and to the point. In the B2B world, years and years ago, people were like, you need 2,000 plus words per page. No, people want to get to the point in B2B. TikTokification has changed everyone, and everyone expects to get what they're looking for really quick. In Canada, Microsoft did a study, Microsoft Canada specifically, about attention spans. They found that humans have a shorter attention span by roughly a second than a goldfish. How crazy is that? A goldfish can pay attention to something longer than humans. It's kind of crazy to think about. You also want to keep your design style on brand. Don't deviate from this. This isn't just about your website. This is also on your social profiles or any marketing that you do. A great example of this is McDonald's. Around their stores in places like Europe, they had these boards that smell like French fries, and then people would want to walk into McDonald's. Adobe also does a great example or does a great job with this, with all their different products and just keeping that same brand identity. Even with the companies that they acquire, they eventually merge them in to the fold. And you also want to make your website and pages responsive. We've talked about this earlier, but device sizes change constantly. Just have your website adapt. It makes things easier. I also recommend that you get inspired by the best. There's a lot of websites that you can look for the best examples in B2C and B2B and use them as inspirations. Then you want to perform tests, constant tests on the changes you've made and continually improve them. See, improving the experience isn't just about, hey, we got to release new designs. It's actually easier to take an iterative approach and keep adjusting elements of the design. Fast forward a year, you'll be like, wow, our design looks totally different. Our experience is totally different. Yeah, because you continually have tested and improved it over time. It's much more affordable to do that than it is to just pay for a brand new design, and it may not always work the way you want. If you're looking for a design partner, make sure they do more than just design. They're thinking about page load time, experience, cost versus value. Are they optimizing for also platforms like search engines? Are they optimizing for AI platforms to easily scrape and showcase data as well? These things are really important in this new age. Now let's talk about B2B design innovations. And there's a few more, and we can probably do a question or two as well. So the first is animations. When you have complex products, use animations to explain what you're doing. Sure, someone still may need to get in touch for a demo or talk to someone, whether it's a service or a product, but animations can help solve a lot of the confusion or objections or questions that people may have. I also recommend AI-powered forms. When people are filling out their forms, you can fill a lot out for them based on the data that a lot of these AI tools have, so that way people don't have to fill out all these forms manually. It saves them time and they're happy. And last but not least, you have voice-operated interfaces. People want to chat with others. They can do this with AI chatbots. They can do this with AI. They can do this with humans. But people want voice-operated interfaces. And it's not just with how they communicate with you, it's also with the product. Great example of this with a lot of home automation tools. People are able to just use their voice and the lights turn on, right? Alexa, please turn off the lights. Doesn't work here because they don't have Alexa plugged in. If they did, that was pretty sick. And then I'd have to tell it to turn on the lights. So before I get into questions, I want to end with this quote from Carrie Bodine. I'm probably mispronouncing her name. I'm terrible at English and grammar. Was amazing at math. My mom always told me, you're Indian. It's okay, just be good at math. And I was like, but you're a teacher. You're supposed to tell me to be good at everything. She's like, no, it's okay. You're just going to be good at math. That exceptionally well at. My mom was right. Exceptional customer experiences are the only sustainable platform for competitive differentiation. Think about what you can do with your customer experience. Go above and beyond. It really helps delight your customers, and it helps generate more revenue in the long run. So, any questions that you guys may have?
Yeah, give it up for Neil, everybody.
And if you want the deck, you can just download it through the QR code.
Neil, have you ever heard of this concept, LinkedInfluencer?
Yeah.
Have you heard that term?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you're talking about. You're leveraging the concept of influencers in the B2C world, but using, obviously, LinkedIn's the main platform for B2B buyers. And I was just checking out Neil's profile. Admittedly, I should have done this before today. 332,000 LinkedIn followers. And I don't know what your Instagram looks like, because I'm too old for that stuff. But 332, so I mean, think of the impact that has in terms of building a brand. You've obviously created an amazing one. So
Thank you.
I didn't know if you'd ever heard that term, but you're certainly living the LinkedInfluencer life, if you will.
You want to know the funny part is? I don't even know how many followers I have on any social network, including LinkedIn. I don't really check. The real key is if you want to do well from a marketing standpoint and a brand standpoint, just put out really good information. I have understanding if I have hundreds and thousands of followers or a million on a platform, but like I don't go in and I check on LinkedIn, what do I have? The key to doing really well is educate, put tons of information out. In B2B, a lot of that is stats and data. Like I post a ton of stats and data on that platform. In B2C, it's more of that emotional storytelling that does better. And funny enough, on LinkedIn, B2C and B2B content does well. And here's an interesting reason. It's the social network out of all the major popular ones that people post the least to. And because they don't have people publishing content, when you publish content, what do you think they do? They show it to more people because they don't have tons to choose from. Now, that doesn't mean you should put out crap content, but it just means you should put out content on LinkedIn because you're probably going to do better than most networks because they don't have enough content.
Yeah, a big aha for me was to use LinkedIn as a social media network, not just a job posting site.
Bingo.
Yeah. Questions? Let's see. There we go.
Good morning.
Okay. Hi, good morning. I'm Jessica. I work in the public sector in the transportation industry. And we've talked about for years possibly moving to chatbots for some of our interactions. Just curious on what you think is more effective or the differences between chatbots and human interaction.
I think you need both. When people want to talk to a human, because some people don't want to talk with chatbots,
Right.
then a human takes over, but you can start with chatbots. The key with chatbots, let's say you're in the transportation industry here in Canada, you probably have so many emails of customer service, requests, questions, concerns, issues people have, not hundreds, but thousands, if not tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. So you want to put that into learning models where it can learn from all that, the responses. And when people give a response, a lot of times you'll ask them, how satisfied are you with the response? Not too happy, really happy. Take the ones that people are really happy with and use those for learning. And then take the ones that people were not happy with and use it for learning and saying, don't respond like this because people were upset. That'll help train the chatbots to make them more effective when people are communicating. And then when they're not happy, let it go to a human.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Come on, you got him here for a couple more minutes. Take advantage, folks. Don't be bashful.
I think someone's over there on my right.
Thank you. Hi, Neil. I'm actually one of your followers since about 2015, I think, so I was happy to see you here.
Thank you.
We talked a little bit about authenticity, and I think this came up a couple of times. And we're a small company. We have 25 corporate clients. We do really well at personal relationships with our clients. But as we scale, I feel like that's going to be a challenge. And the risk is that we become like a big company that has terrible support and uses chatbots that are people frustrate.
What do you guys sell?
We sell software to fire departments, so SaaS
That's
model.
cool.
Yeah, help save lives.
That's awesome. And you can still have the personal relationships even if you have, you're at 20-something clients. How many employees?
Yeah, around 20, and we don't want to scale one-to-one or keep scaling one-to-one, I guess.
You don't necessarily have to scale one-to-one, but to do the relationships, you can start doing in-person events, having people who are running the back office for the fire stations to come in person, and you guys can meet with them, do dinners with them, travel around and do group dinners with different fire stations. It's not like they're competing. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, you sell consulting, I sell consulting, we're going after the same customer. A fire station in Toronto isn't competing with a fire station in Montreal. They're trying to put out fires, right? And it's public services. So what I would do is group dinners and events as you scale up, and you'll still keep amazing relationships with your customers without doing one-to-one. You're going to eventually add more people, whether you like it or not. You will get to more than 50, even more to 100 people, but it's not going to be one-to-one where every time you add a customer, you're going to have to add an employee. But to scale up, you're going to have to do more group events, and that'll help you maintain relationships as well.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Literally putting out fires, right? I think we've got a question over here. There we go.
I think this was a good message. I'm B2B And it was a good reminder that when we sell to someone like Suncor, we're not selling to Suncor, we're selling to people.
Yes.
So the big question I have is, what do you do when the people change jobs? How do you maintain that relationship with the other people in the organization? Any tips for that?
So what you just talked about is a double-edged sword. One, when the person changes a job, there is also a chance that you picked up a new customer because they change a job, usually a higher position, and they may reach out to you again if you had a great relationship with them and buy again from you at a new corporation. That is actually how a lot of B2B organizations grow. You work with a lot of companies, people change jobs, they bring you to new companies, especially if you did well. So you want to maintain the relationship with them. When someone new takes their job, ask them for an introduction, right? When you ask them for an introduction, it helps ease things over, and you want to try to get to know them, build relationships with them, and you want to do that with not just one person in the organization, you want to do that with multiple people at each organization. The reason being is, if you know 4 people at this Suncor, if you know 4 people at Suncor, 1 leaves, you still got 3 advocates. And then you can get to know that new 4th person, and you still have a good shot of maintaining your relationship, maintaining the contract for your product, your service, whatever it may be. But what you need to do is maintain the relationship with multiple people within the organization, so when new people come in, it's not as hard. Because like, oh, if you're a new person in the organization, well, like, I'm working with 3 other people, whether I'm their boss or not, they already like this company. I don't want to start creating chaos within my organization, start butting heads with my coworkers. They must like this company for a reason. And you also built a great relationship with the person who just left. And hey, maybe they'll bring you to the new company as well.
Great, thank you.
All right. I think with that, we're out of time.
Thank
so
you guys
please
very
give Neil a round of applause. Thank you, Neil.